What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of mental illness?
People who have problems being alone, depression, and any kind of stuff like that.
Okay, so do you have anyone that's close to you that suffers from a mental illness?
My grandma.
Your grandma? What does she have?
I can't remember what it's called, but she can't be alone.
Okay.
She gets like really depressed when she's alone, and she'll like freak out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how prevalent do you think mental illness is?
A lot of people have it.
You think a lot of people have it? All right, so if I told you 1 in 4 Americans were going to have a mental illness, would you be surprised?
No.
No, not at all. So what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of mental illness?
Insanity.
Insanity? Okay. Do you have anyone that's close to you that suffers from a mental illness?
No.
No, nobody at all. How prevalent do you think mental illness is?
Not many people.
Not many people? All right, so if I told you 1 in 4 Americans will have a mental illness sometime in their life, how do you think about that?
That's insane.
It's a high number. You think about how many people there are.
It's very high.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of mental illness?
Depression and anxiety.
Depression and anxiety. All right. Do you have anybody that's close to you that has a mental illness?
Yeah, half my family has it, so.
Half your family?
Yeah.
Do you know any examples of what they might have?
Like, what do you mean? Exactly.
What kind of mental illnesses that they live
They
with?
have depression.
Depression.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how prevalent do you think mental illnesses are?
Pretty common, because, I mean, a lot of people could have them and not even know. Like,
That's
they
true.
don't realize it.
So if I told you 1 in 4 Americans had a mental illness, how would you feel about that?
Honestly, would not be surprised.
All right, so what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of a mental illness?
Mental illness, delayed development.
Delayed development.
Right.
All right. Do you have anyone that's close to you that suffers from a mental illness?
Yes.
You do? Do you know what kind of mental illness?
My brother has delayed development, and my sister's bipolar schizoaffective, and my nephew, he is I don't know politically correct what to say. He's actually mentally weak. Has his delayed development is worse than my brother's. I'm the advocate. I'm the advocate of both of them.
Okay. So how prevalent do you think mental illness is in our society today?
It's a lot more prevalent, I think, because it's being diagnosed. It might not be more, but there's more diagnosis.
Okay. And did you know that 1 in 4 Americans will have a mental illness in their lifetime?
No, I didn't know.
Are you surprised?
Yes, that is correct.
That's a high number, right? 1 in
is a
4
high number,
Americans. Yeah. That's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of mental illness.
Well, my family in Camden, on my dad's side, we have a lot of bipolar going on, depression, and stuff like that. So it just basically means family to me.
Okay. All right. So, and you know a lot of people that has suffered from a mental illness.
Yes.
Okay. How prevalent do you think mental illness is in our society?
It's a big part of society. I mean, you have people judging people and you don't even know what's wrong with them, basically. And it's big judgmental, like stigma and stuff.
Yeah. So if I told you 1 in 4 Americans would have a mental illness, how do you feel about that?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Not surprised at all. That is very common. That's a true statement. We have a board here, and it has several iconic people's faces on it. Do you know any of these people?
2.
You know 2 of them? Yeah. Those 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think do you know any of these people have mental illnesses?
Probably those 2 I picked.
Probably the same people?
Yeah.
All right, well, if I told you that all of them had a mental illness, how would you feel about that?
I don't see it being like I wouldn't know, but I think they do.
Would you say it's pretty easy to guess that they would have a mental illness? Or?
Not really easy to guess, but by their actions you can probably tell.
Okay, that was the board right here. And do you know any of these people on this board?
Yes.
You do? Okay. How many of these people do you think have a mental illness?
6 of them.
6 of them? Okay. Why do you think they have it? What makes you think that they would have a mental illness?
Because of what they do things that are absolutely amazing, but even people who are famous have problems.
Okay, yeah, so you know these are famous people, and famous people can also have problems. All right, so if I told you every single one of these people on this board have a mental illness,
That's scary.
it's scary. Like I said, 1 in 4 people, and these are people throughout history that you probably would never guess. Right. And do you know anybody on this board? Yep. Will you point them out for me?
I went to the one in Raleigh and did a project on
Michael Phelps, forgot her name, Abraham Lincoln. I know who that is, but not really. Isn't that Beethoven? Okay.
Okay, so how many people on this board do you think have
Oh yeah, I'm
mental
totally
illness?
all about the NAMI.
All of them.
I mean, it supports
All of them?
Yeah, I know she
my
suffers
reasons
from
why.
like an eating disorder. And then I know Beethoven had something on the thing, can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Okay, that's a good guess. So if I told you every one of these people did have a mental disorder, and you were completely right, that's an amazing amount of people, right? People you would never guess.
Yeah.
So we have a board right here. And do you know anybody on this board? Will you point them out to me?
Abraham Lincoln, Angelina Jolie, and Michael Phelps.
Okay.
That's it,
All
yeah.
right. And so which of these people do you think have a mental illness?
I know Michael Phelps does. He has ADHD, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I did research on her, so that's how I knew that she had mental illness going on.
All right. And so if I told you that every single one of these people had a mental illness, would you be surprised?
Not at all.
Nope. Okay. And do you know any of these people? Will you point them out for me?
Brandon Marshall, Brooke Shields, Abe Lincoln, Michael Phelps, Angelina Jolie, Carrie Fisher. That looks like, I guess that's, is Beethoven. And is this, that's Nobel?
No, it's Ernest Hemingway.
Ernest
Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah. Okay, so, and which of these iconic people do you think have a mental illness?
Well, I know he does, and she does, and he does, and she does. I think she does too, but I don't know about those over there, Beethoven. I don't know about Beethoven, Lincoln, and him.
And do you know that they have mental illness by facts or just by who you know?
Oh, these two are self-proclaimed and they're being treated and diagnosed. This one, I think she kind of cooped out, and he's always in trouble, so he's never actually come out. And I think hers has been publicized as well.
Okay, so if I told you that every single one of these people have a mental illness, would you be surprised?
Not because of these people and because I pay attention to it. You know, when it comes up, because I actually worked in the mental health field for a long time, like early 90s. So when they come up, like Catherine Zeta-Jones and other persons, I point out the people that have mental illnesses, that these people have these mental illnesses, but they deal with them. And the ones, so you're making excuses a lot of time. But yeah, I know, I understand the illness is real.
All right, thank you very much.